AITA for being my nephew's first word? Originally posted by you, Moo in r. Am I the Asshole on February 17, 23. Updated February 24th and March 21st. I have made quite a bit of punctuation edits so you can read it with your brain cosploding. Trigger warning. Child abuse. Verbal abuse. Less than. Original post. AITA for being my nephew's first word? My brother and his wife have a baby over a year old. He's 15 months. I regularly babysit him. I don't mind it because I'm happy to help my brother. Although his wife is a stay-at-home, so I'm not sure why I have to. But I don't want to cause trouble. I work and own a dairy farm. I asked my brother if it's okay I take his son to work with me whenever I babysit. Otherwise I would get nothing done. I have proper safety precautions in place and he only comes with me in the tractor because it has a proper car seat. He said it's fine. My nephew loves the animals. He makes all kind of excited noises and I try to encourage him to pet them when I hold him. They are all vaccinated and dosed regularly and calm again cleared with my bro. We spend a lot of time together. My brother and his wife have been trying to get him to say his first words. Although it's not simple and they don't exactly make it easier. Instead of mama or dada, they coax him to say mother and father. And my nephew just doesn't get it. He's a baby and those words seem kinda complicated for a baby. We were all over at my parents' house for a Sunday get-together and I was sitting, playing blocks with my nephew. He suddenly looks up at me and starts going BBBBBBB. I thought it was just normal baby talk. Then he gets more aggressive, repeating those letters over and over again. Then he starts going NNNNN. He then shouts Ben and points at me and laughs. Ben, Ben, Ben. My name. My brother and Sil start yelling at me, saying I was coaching him and how I was being selfish. They immediately pick him up and my brother yells at me, "You took away his first word. That was supposed to be our moment." They storm off to another room. They stay in there for about 10 minutes. And then come out and leave. But as they are leaving, the baby looks at me again and shouts, in the playful baby voice, "Ben," and points at me again. My Sil shouts at her son, so her son starts crying. Then she shouts at him more, starts crying herself, and they leave. My parents think I'm an ass and I shouldn't have been teaching him my name. But I haven't. The only time he hears my name is when anyone else says it. They think I should apologize to my Sil for ruining what should have been a mother's special moment. But honestly, my Sil doesn't act like much a mother. She doesn't work. I have her son 5 days a week. I refuse to take him on Saturdays and Sundays because I want to get some nitty-gritty work done and she throws fits about it. At family events he's always offloaded to me. To play with. To feed. She pumps always has. I'm not judging her for not doing direct breastfeeding BTW. To calm down any tantrums and to change when he goes bathroom in his diapers. What do you think, Reddit? Edit. The argument that Sil had with her son went something like this. Sil. Say mother. Baby. Baby noises. BB Ben more baby noises. Sil. Say mother. Baby. With tears in his eyes and kind of sobbing. BBB Ben. He said Ben quietly this time. Sil. No you idiot, say mother now. Baby. Now crying. Ben Ben Ben. Sil. Not so nice words that I don't feel like repatting. Say mother. Baby. No full-on crying and sniffling. Doesn't say anything. Sil brother and baby leave. Edit 2. I have taken your advice on board and am going to take action tomorrow. I'll post an update sometime next week if this sub allows them. More info in the comments. I would have the kid every day if I didn't put my foot down and say I need Saturday to do some heavy, dangerous work, otherwise I would get nothing done. She doesn't have PPD. She went to therapy after he was born, and they said she was fine. Her reason for staying at home is so she can have some peace. They don't really talk to their kid that much, just kinda wait for him to cry for something. They have been going, say mother, father, depending on who is speaking to him, but don't really partake in the fun and silliness that is baby talk like I do. They think it encourages him to just make sounds. He's been late to all his milestones. Sil says he has learning difficulties, but I've never noticed anything. He tried walking one day when I was at their house, and Sil marched over and shoved him back on the ground. She did that a lot when he would try to walk. I eventually got him to start full-on walking. Well, baby walking. When he was on his own with me, my parents told Sil and Bro they wouldn't be doing any babysitting apart from maybe once a month. I am 25, Bro is 29, and Sil is 30. Before the baby was born, I told my brother that if he needed a hand in the first few months, meaning like a shelf put up or any manual labor, I'd be happy to help. They then said it was fine and just asked me to babysit every so often. It started as once every 2 weeks, but by 6 months it was 5 days a week. I have him today, and I am currently making okay progress with him, saying cow he can get the letters out. Just hasn't put them together. He's a lot quitter today and isn't really talking. I am worried my brother and Sil punished him when he got home. I have him today again, but my Sil told me not to talk to him, and if he says my name to tell him to be quiet or yell at him. I am not doing that, but baby is a lot quitter and hasn't said my name at all. Really, he doesn't even make his usual baby sounds. My Sil is very posh and uptight. It's her way or the highway most of the time. She was always like this. I am always friendly to her, though she doesn't like when anyone calls their mom or dada anything other than mother or father. She thinks it's barbaric and breeds stupidity. What can I do? I've tried bringing him back to their house, but they ignore me and will disappear to town if they see my pickup coming over the hills, and I don't want to neglect him. I seem to be the only positive influence in his life. Talking to my brother is pointless. He agrees with everything she says even when she's not around. He would also shove him down when he tried walking. When he tried crawling, my brother picked him up and would strap him tightly into the car seat that just sits on their living room floor. She wanted it. She would talk for ages after they got married about how excited she was to have a cute baby and how she was going to be smarter and better and do everything faster than all the other kids. Judgment. Not the asshole. First update 1 week later. I figured I would give you all an update. Thanks for all the advice and help, everyone. I did not call CPS. Our country has something else, but for simplicity I'll just refer to it as CPS. Straight away, that was probably my biggest mistake. I have always tried to see the good in people and trust and forgive others. It's a terrible habit to have in this modern day, but that's just always been me. I brought Lo over to his parents' house early Friday afternoon and told them it's their baby. They need to look after it. I wasn't going to babysit anymore. Not unless it's a dire emergency such as death or illness. I gave them parenting books and explained everything they were doing wrong. We had a long talk for a few hours, and I honestly thought we got somewhere. I went over Sunday afternoon and Lo was doing great. He was doing the baby stumble all over the room. He was laughing. It seemed great. The car seat was nowhere to be found. I thought we'd turned a corner. He even said his second word. It's Will, not sure why, but he uses it now to get attention instead of Ben. I was only over for an hour and they all seemed happy. On the way out, I mentioned to my brother that on Monday I was going to be helping my fiancé move into mine. Monday morning rolls round. I get up, milk, feed the dry cows and calves, bed everything, and put the milking stock out to grass. I was running late to meet my fiancé, who I'll call Aya, so I took off my overalls, ran into the house, grabbed my keys for my pickup off the table. I didn't even look in the living room. You can see where this is going already. It was 10 o'clock at this point. I put my trailer on and went over to Aya's. I was there for 3 hours helping her load and pack. We went and got lunch at around 2. We stayed at the cafe for an hour. Went shopping together for an hour or so. Then back to hers to lift my truck and the rest of her stuff. We got back to mine at around 7. We were standing talking in my yard when we both hear screaming and crying. I unlocked the door and run in and was greeted with an image I'll never forget. Lo was on the floor screaming, crying. His face all red. He was sucking on one of the unopened bottles of breast milk. His high chair that I have was lying on the floor. He had tried climbing it earlier in the day. I looked back through the cameras after CPS came. My TV was on the ground, broke. The place was a mess. His diaper was a mess. I picked him up and began calming him while I changed him. Aya put 3 bottles in the microwave to heat up and then took him to feed him for me. I got a text then from my bro asking if I could bring him back to theirs at around 8 because they had a surprise for everyone. They were having an announcement party, which is why I had to babysit so they could get it all ready. They hadn't texted me at all earlier. I then thought about ringing my bro, but as I looked at my fiancé, who was yanking the bottle out of Lo's mouth so he didn't drink too fast. He was really aggressively gulping it down and give himself stomach problems. I decided to call CPS and the police. CPS came to us, and the police went theirs. I handed Lo over and gave my statement as well as a copy of my CTV. My SIL arrived at mine at 7 a.m. and dropped Lo off. My living room baby monitor caught nearly all of Lo movement, and one of my outside cameras caught a fair bit of his movement in the kitchen. He pulled the TV down on top of himself after he had been crying for a few hours. That's how he got his forehead bruise. He tried to climb into his high chair, but that fell onto him and bruised his shoulder. He sat in the car seat I have on the living room floor, took it out of my truck to make room for boxes, and just screamed my name and then just screamed nothing. His voice was hoarse by this point. What was Sil's surprise, you wonder? Well, it's nothing. Only that she's pregnant again. Because in her words, the first one was a breeze, and she wants a daughter. Unfortunately, CPS in my country believes strongly in rehabilitation, but it's aggressive rehab, not just, here's your kid, try to do better. It's the whole 9 yards. My SIL has a new therapist, and they must do couples counseling as well as parenting classes and weekly visitations by CPS from now until new baby is 2 years. I have been appointed as a watcher for Lo, meaning anyone that wants to visit has to be approved by me. And a bunch of other things must go through me. I know I made a mistake in trusting them, but I really thought they would change. Aya and I are now fully moved in together. I haven't babysitted at all this week. Bro and Sil are in between court appearances and other mandated events as well as being a parent. They struck a deal with the prosecutor and CPS. 3 years suspended sentence and a bunch of other restrictions. Which is how this all progressed so fast. My parents have finally seen Sil and Bro for what they are and have apologized profusely to me. I'm getting married in March. But I've demoted my bro from best man to guest. I just promoted my best friend and picked another friend to be a new groomsman to keep it even with Aya's bridesmaids. I'm contemplating uninviting them, but I'm going to think about it for a while. A lot of you said I should adopt Lo, but the truth is, I don't want to. I love him and will always be there for him, but I want it to be in a fun but caring uncle capacity. I know this sounds selfish, but I just can't explain my love for him. I want to have my own family and still be a part of his. I hope you all understand this. There is still a lot happening, so I might make an update too much later, but this is all that I can share at this point. Bro and Sil are mad at me and refusing to talk outside of anything they are legally required to talk to me about. I don't see why they are mad at me though they left a baby, which hadn't had breakfast, at my house and didn't tell me, when they knew I was going to be away. Please feel free to leave some more advice or thoughts. I do read them all, even the negative ones. But take care everyone, and thank you for all your help. Second update. Hi everyone, it's been almost a month, so I thought I would post an update here. I first tried having a civilized conversation with Lo's parents and it worked for 2 days. Then it was back to me looking after him, so I called CPS. There is a whole incident on my page if you're curious. Sil is unfortunately pregnant again because apparently raising the first one was simple and easy. She also used the word breeze. CPS has them on a strict regimen with regular therapy for them all and classes for the parents. SIL's new therapist has diagnosed her with narcissistic personality disorder, as well as a few other things, but not PPD surprisingly. I didn't mention it in the original post cause it wasn't relative, but I was engaged at the time. I'm not anymore though, cause I'm married. I invite Lo and his parents. He has said his second word, it's Will. He doesn't know any people called Will though, and he hasn't really said my name much. His physiologist thinks it's cause he associates it with yelling at him now. But he said it at my wedding along with a new word that I definitely didn't teach him. There was a quiet moment when my best man passed the mic to my wife's Mo, and Lo chose that moment to demonstrate his vocabulary. Ben, Will, fuck. Everyone started laughing except his parents, who were mortified. They see themselves as better than everyone else. They did try to blame me for the F word, but it's not my go-to swear word. Bastard would be my main choice. His parents are doing better. My bro was the golden child, but he's fallen out of favor with my parents since CPS was called. I have been over to their house and everything seems fine. No car seat on the living room floor. Lo running around laughing, making noises, enjoying himself. My Sil on the other hand has called me multiple times crying because Lo would cry for no reason, or he wouldn't sleep, despite being fed and changed. All normal baby things. She wants me to solve it, but she needs to learn, especially with NO2 on the way. That's all really. I want to thank everyone for their help. I might make more posts on my account. Not on this sub. But take care everyone. Reminder. Do not comment on the original posts or contact the original poster. I am not the original poster. This is a repost. Wow. Some people should just not have kids. As a speech-language pathologist, the fact that these people wanted mother and father out of a 15-month-old is so ridiculous. Even non-SLPs know this is not a natural expectation. Most of those speech sounds alone don't come that early, by a long shot, much less combined. Ben, on the other hand, is short, sweet, and consists of early developing sounds. ETA. Ben would also be much more motivating for the baby to say, since Oop actually interacted with him in a healthy and nurturing manner. Obviously this would make his nephew want to communicate about with him. I honestly wish that was the extent of it though, because the rest was just plain terrible. Poor kid. This is an active train wreck. His brother and Sil don't want to be parents. They want child accessories they can trot around. I'm not shocked that baby boy's first word was Ben. His first word isn't gonna be mother or father, because that's too hard for a child to say. Especially when you do nothing to enrich him and Ben has basically raised him. Sil and her husband should not be allowed to have children. They wanted their children to call them mother and father. That seems so cold to me. It's also clear they abuse the child. I wish Oop would adopt the nephew, but I understand why they do not want to. I feel bad for the kid. The first update made me so sad. Just picture that poor kid alone in the house for hours. Opening parenthesis. That poor child. That poor baby. Will, probably repeatedly hearing you will not say Ben. You will say mother. I don't know if it's just me, but I spent a fair amount of time around 2 kids this age in the way. This just doesn't make sense. Or sound real. Either way, I hope it isn't real just because it's abuse, obviously. Those poor babies' sad face. So this man watches the baby several days a week, while working on a farm? And the mother doesn't even work. She just wants some peace, and doesn't feel like watching her kid. This story is quite a stretch of the imagination. They find anything but mother and father to be barbaric and uncivilized. LMAOOK. Most real story on Reddit. These people want kids as accessories without all the hard work of raising them. Narcissist is right. Why was the brother not also recommended therapy other than just couples counseling? He's just as big a part in this. Heaven help the second child if it's not a girl like mother wants. I do get why Oop doesn't want to adopt his nephew. I think he's right too. His brother and Sil reforming and becoming good parents is preferable, even though it's clear Ben is doing a much better job than the kid's actual parents so far. Besides, I'm sure he and his nephew will always be close. He's a good uncle. Baby car seat in a tractor. How? I've never seen a tractor with more than a driver's seat. I know we aren't supposed to cast doubt on the veracity of these posts. But, come on y'all, be better than this. Be smart enough to see how unbelievably wrong this is if you think even a second about it. WTF did I just read? This was an enjoyable read. But all the Reddit buzzwords. Golden child. A diagnosis of NPD that somehow became common knowledge. A wedding. A demotion of a best man. Just make me doubt it's real. Still, well written. I'll never get people who get super wrapped up in whether a baby says mom or dad first as a joke. With your partner, sure, but like invested? None of us did either as our first words. I had duck, middle brother had car, and littlest brother had his own name. It seems from the story that Oop is putting most of the blame on horrible Sil, but in my opinion bro is definitely just as bad. I hope little man turns out okay, although with parents like those, who knows? They think it encourages him to just make sounds. This is the first step in language. He needs to make sounds before he makes words.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.